Welcome back. As we discussed, Klal Yisrael is almost ready to receive this next level where their entire nation will reach a level of service, where the entire nation will receive the clarity, the understanding, and the capability to become the ultimate being, the ultimate servant. And as discussed, everything physical was already taught to them is in service of Hashem. It was already taught to them that even anything that they need to survive in this world as human beings, like water, like food, is all here in service of Hashem. There was one last lesson. Klal Yisrael still had to be shown that even if there were human beings around them, even if there are other nations around them that seem to think and seem to live and lead a life where they think that they are the masters, even if it seems that they are people who are living without serving Hashem and they're surviving, even if it looks like that they're powerful, indeed, if they will be in the way of Klal Yisrael, if they will be in the way of serving Hashem, they will be destroyed, not by physical strength, but by showing and opening up the world to see Hashem in every move. Amalek tries to go and fight with Klal Yisrael. Indeed, the Torah tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu had to keep his hands up, and by keeping his hands up, that's how Klal Yisrael won. What does it mean, keeping his hands up? He was showing Klal Yisrael, even with something so physical as a human being intentionally coming to fight you, there is absolutely nothing that can stand in the way if you look up and you realize in this world, in this physical, shallow world, if you realize that everything that's happening is Hashem's will, then of course there is nothing, there is no obstacle that can stand in your way if your intention is serving Hashem. If your intention is serving Hashem, then of course by looking up to Hashem, by internalizing Hashem, then every obstacle will be moved out of your way, which is indeed what happened. And now, Klal Yisrael is reaching Sinai. Klal Yisrael is ready and preparing itself to receive the ultimate guide. But before, there was one more lesson. There was a lesson of understanding that in order to reach the highest levels, a person does not only have to understand that everything physical needs to reach a level of spiritual. They also had to understand that there has to be a physical understanding of what it means to know where you are, to know your level. They had to know that the Mount Sinai itself was now a spiritual being. They had to know that even a mountain, even flowers, even grass can all be there in a spiritual level in service of Hashem. They had to know that if indeed that's the case, they have to separate themselves from Mount Sinai. They had to understand that they were about to reach a level of purity, a level of clarity that has never been before shown in this universe. And therefore they had to prepare themselves and separate themselves from the physical. They had to have 3 days where they will separate themselves from everything physical, even with the understanding that the physical could be lifted up to spirituality. They had to show that they were not only willing to lift up the physical into spiritual, but they were ready to give up everything physical in order to live a level and a life of service. Indeed, they were preparing for something that has never before been produced in this world. They were preparing to not only be servants, but children. What does it mean to be a child and at the same time to be a servant? A servant is someone who will do the master's will. A servant is someone that hopefully, as a good servant, will learn not to think twice. A servant is someone who has the potential to, at some point, become an ultimate servant, that all he does is in the service of his master. As we discussed in the previous episodes, whether it was Avram Avinu finding the master and creator and bringing that understanding into the world, whether it was Yitzchak Avinu showing that the human being is capable of lifting himself up to a level of ultimate service, whether it was Yaakov Avinu showing that you can connect ultimate service with everything physical in this world and living side by side with evil and still remembering and living as a servant. Whether it was Yosef HaTzadik showing that no matter what surrounds you, no matter what evil you live with, still you can live and be happy in the service of Hashem. Whether it was Klal Yisrael going through the training of learning how to serve a master, no matter what they're told, no matter what they think. Whether it was Klal Yisrael learning the lessons and understanding that everything physical in this world is only here as an obstacle if you perceive it as something physical. But as soon as you see in it the will of Hashem, as soon as you see in it all it is the will of Hashem, then it actually turns into something of service to Hashem. And that, of course, is the power of a servant. But a child is something else completely. A child is someone that even if their service is not perfect, even if their service had not reached a level of purity, even if their service had not reached a level of ultimate service, still a child is cherished and loved and adored and rewarded for their service. A servant that is not a child will not be rewarded if their service does not reach something that should be rewarded. But a child will be rewarded for anything. Not only that, a child will be told and shown what they could do to reach a higher level of service. A servant needs to use their own energy to try and become better. But a father to a child will try to show him the right way. A father to a child will try to give him a shortcut, will try to give him a trick. Here, my child, if you do so and so, you will magically reach higher levels. You can become an ultimate servant in a split of a second. If you're a child, the treatment is very different. Klal Yisrael was about to become not only Am Hashem, not only the nation of Hashem, but children of Hashem. They were going to reach a level of being a child that therefore has not only the capability, not only the potential of becoming the ultimate servant, but being able to in a split second be shown how to be an ultimate servant and be rewarded as an ultimate servant. And of course for that, they had to go through the final step. They had to go through the step of their father lovingly telling them, here, my child, I'm not going to leave it on your shoulders to try to figure out what to do as a servant. You're not going to have to struggle to figure out what actions to do and how to lead your life. I will give you a clear guide. I will give you clarity in this physical world, how you can behave, and with that reach ultimate service. I will give you tricks. I will give you shortcuts. I will reward you for your service. And I will reward you as an ultimate servant, even when in technical terms you haven't reached that level. And of course, that was Matan Torah. That was receiving a clear guide from Hashem himself, showing them and telling them, listen, my children, with these steps, you can become ultimate servants. With these steps, I will reward you as if you are ultimate servants. I will cherish you. I will adore you. I will cherish your actions. Even if As physical human beings, you have not worked on yourself to reach the level of ultimate servants. But by being my children, I will help you along. I will push you in that direction. I will heal you. I will guide you. And with that, we're reaching Matan Torah. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. And with that, I would like to wish you a wonderful day.